But Horowitz comes out and he says he files a pandemic charges with the FBI in New York City. Ooh, whoa. Do you hear what I just said? He's over here saying, basically, this is Los Angeles. Drug industry investigators have uncovered documents exposing an international drug ring operating from New York City is behind the H1N1 swine flu fright and vaccination preparations. It's interesting because even Sharon says, you know, in their news thing, the swine flu outbreak. What outbreak? Okay? What pandemic? What a hoax. It gets better. Dr. Leonard Horowitz and Sherry Kane, an investigative journalist, have released evidence in legal affidavits that leaders of private global biotechnology trust are behind the pandemic flu, including its origin, the alleged prevention via vaccinations, and documents being these documents have been sent to the FBI this week. David Rockefeller's trust that engages in several powerful partnerships on Wall Street, including media mongols Rupert Murdoch, Morton Zuckerman, Thomas Glover, former chairman of the board of directors of the Federal Reserve Bank in New York City, Jerry Speyer, are implicated in advancing global genocide. So anyway, there's a little law thing for you lawyers out there. Okay, at least someone's paying attention. We have good people doing good things. Now, for a little bit of 9/11 Zen, I've got some info for you. There's something you should learn. The 9/11 families to march on New York City Hall. This is what's called NYCAN, which is the New York City Coalition for Accountability Now. Okay, 80,000 New Yorkers have signed a petition and has won the endorsement of 2002 Time Magazine Person of the Year, okay, former FBI agent Colleen Rowley, as well as outspoken 9/11 victim family members, including Bill Doyle, who lost his son Joey. All right, and once again, the family members and the first responder family members, okay, are marching on City Hall saying they want a real investigation. This is real important. So here, catch this bit of 9/11 Zen. Here's a little bit on NY CAN.
Well, basically, when it comes to the only public inquiry into the events that took my uncle's life and 3,000 others, what we find is the U.S. government has told us a story that conflicts tremendously with the physical, scientific, corroborated evidence that we could all find in the public forum. 60% of the commissioners said that they were lied to, that we did not get the entire story. 70% of family members' questions were never answered during that only public inquiry years ago. Here in New York City, for the past year, we've collected 80,000 signatures to have on this November's ballot a referendum that allows for New York City voters to say yes to an impartial, non-political, subpoena-powered investigation, a proper investigation, into the events that took my uncle's life.
I'm aware that there's still some who would question or even justify the offense of 9/11. But let us be clear. Al-Qaeda killed nearly 3,000 people on that day. These are not opinions to be debated. These are facts to be dealt with.
Would you not say that the fact that there's been no terror attacks in the last 8 years means that the U.S. administration is, at least now, on the right path?
You know, it could also mean that there was no real threat to begin with. There was no real threat to begin with.
Now the letter, which demanded, quote, real answers to 9/11, called for a, quote, immediate inquiry into evidence that suggests high-level government officials may have deliberately allowed the September 11th attacks to occur.
I think that we put something out there that is so powerful that they can't figure out a way to disassemble it this time.
I do not believe Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda were behind the attacks. The evidence doesn't point that way. Al-Qaeda is a database of mercenaries that the CIA kept in the 1980s and 90s.
Yeah, I know, because these guys in a cave in Afghanistan with a satellite phone can get NORAD to stand down. Wow. I wrote the letter to get people's attention. Oh my God, did this really happen? And then bang, there's all the data. And so I think it's had the effect that I had hoped for, and even more so. But the media right now is really showing their ignorance as well as their true colors.
Fires in high-rises have never brought down a steel frame high-rise building at all, ever.
My name's Bob McIlvaine. I'm from Orland, Pennsylvania. I lost my son. When I did this to the press, I wasn't able to get through it, but maybe the second time around. I lost my son at Merrill Lynch. Can't do it.
So there's a little more 9/11 for you this week. You know, I don't think it'll go away. Not today and maybe not tomorrow. So here we go. This is, you want some earth-shattering, you know, I'll give you some happy Obama news. Because the comparisons between what we have now and what was Germany in the 30s is getting really good, these parallels. But I love this one. Obama to bypass Congress, show them the picture, okay, and allow the indefinite detention of terrorist suspects without charges. Wow. I hope they don't call you a terrorist. Indefinite detention without charges. That's the United States of America, right? That's the Bill of Rights. That's the Constitution for you. That's the old man saying, I mean, how many years do you want to suspend in Gitmo without any charges, without any court, no jury of your peers? But this is Obama, and this, by the way, is from Ross Story. Show him the pic, because you might think I'm lying. It gets really interesting because the G20 just opened, okay? This is these globalist bankers who are calling for a world government, okay? What's the first thing Obama does day one? You'll love this. Here's a little news clip for you, okay? Obama's Iran's secret nuke facility inconsistent with peaceful programs. This is the first thing the old man says when he goes to the G20. Didn't Bush say the same thing with, the word was Iraq, weapons of mass destruction? Haven't you learned? And why this is important and how this falls into places, check this out. This is news, okay? We're going to go with, let's see, this is September 21st. Iran, President Ahmadinejad, I don't know his real name, Ahmadinejad, okay, announced the switch from dollars to euros. This for settlement of oil sales. Just to remind you, when Saddam threatened to do that, the U.S. invaded his country. The Iraqis didn't attack us. Now that we've killed over 1 million Iraqis, Holocaust survivors, please understand, 1 million, you can start counting Holocaust, right? There's now 5 million orphans in Iraq. We've cut off their water, their power, bomb the living heck out of them. We've allowed military contractors to make tons and tons and tons of money. Obama tells you he's removed the troops. So he takes 40,000 troops out of Iraq, puts in 50,000 contractors. That's what I call a reduction. Moves the 40,000 troops plus another additional 10,000 over to Afghanistan, where the CIA happens to be moving their what? Heroin from. Remember our man, Pat Tillman. Okay, for you sports nuts out there, it was Pat Tillman who gave up his career as a football player so he could go what? Join the Army Rangers, and he was killed by his own people when he was writing his mother home, hey, we're guarding poppy fields, mommy. We've allowed criminals to take over. You have to start waking up. So now you've got the old man doing what? When he comes in the office, first thing he does, day one, bombs Pakistan. Well, bombing sovereign nations is legal because, you know what? Once again, think about us and Germany, okay? Think about these comparisons. Now we have FEMA camps. If you don't believe me, watch tonight's movie, okay? Camp FEMA. Yeah. We've spent money, $365 million through Halliburton subsidiary, Kellogg Brown and Root, but also another like $12 billion they spent in the appropriations back in last October. Oh yeah, we get the Patriot Act. Hey, didn't Hitler get a Patriot Act? Yeah, he did, right? Because of the terrorism of what? Burning down the Reichstag. Oh, false flags. That's where, you know, suppose we were attacked by somebody, but it turns out they really wouldn't and couldn't and didn't, you think a caveman did, attack us? Well, hey, Germany had Gleiwitz. That's right, those Polish people supposedly attacked a German radio station. This is how the Second World War started, by the way. You should watch, you should learn from history. The same people that funded Hitler funded Stalin. They funded the old man. These are globalist bankers who now, okay, are trying to tell you that you're going to get mandatory vaccinations by the drugs that they make. Oh, this is beautiful. So anyway, yeah, government control of health. Hey, didn't Hitler have government control of health? He was anti-smoking too. Yeah, I wonder what that's all about, huh? Gun control. Oh, let's go through history. Everywhere there's been gun control. Okay, so now we have Holder or whatever, the new Attorney General, saying, I'll ban any gun I want.